Welcome back everybody. Today we're looking at a new curtain motor from Zemismart, and as you can guess by this QR code, this is a Matter device. Matter over Wi-Fi to be precise, and this is mains powered, so you get a cable, although you are required to fit your own plug, which is simple enough to be honest. This motor clips into an 82 type curtain track, so if you have existing tracks of that type, this should fit fine. Zemismart did in fact send me a curtain track to use with the motor, which comes with a full set of eyelets for curtain hooks, as seen at one end here, with a connection for the motor at the other end. As already mentioned, the motor is Matter compatible using 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, but interestingly it can also use Bluetooth Mesh 2 to work with Xiaomi gateways and the Mi Home ecosystem. Additionally, it's also compatible with Home Assistant as well as the Homey platform. The motor is standardised to work with 82 type tracking and has a rated torque of 1.2 Newton meters. It has a rated maximum speed of 110 RPM, although it actually has 3 speeds accessible via the remote and a maximum load of 50 kilos or 110 pounds. It's also compatible with both voltage standards, so it'll work pretty much anywhere. To use the motor, you will of course need a track, which when purchased will come with a set of wall plugs and screws, as well as a set of brackets to secure the track to your ceiling. I got sent this unit a bit early, so the 2 manuals are in Chinese, which cover installation and setup, as well as adding them to your preferred Matter platform. The final part, but one that's quite important, is a remote control. This comes with a holder and a CR2032 battery. I just wanted to show you this newer type of track compared to the one I previously reviewed, and although the track itself is the same size, you can see the older one comes with these latches that connect different sections together. This older track is also not a standard 82 type due to the specific type of motor interface. This particular one is different as it's telescopic. You simply loosen the screw to adjust the track length and the track slides out like so. The longest the track can extend to is around 3.1 meters or 10.7 feet, with the minimum size being 1.7 meters or 5.6 feet. I use blinds in our new apartment, and in our kitchen I'm currently using a repurposed Eve motion blind. However, as you can probably see, this is clearly not originally meant for this particular window, so I'll be replacing it at some point later. Some kind of covering will be good given we're in view of other neighbours, but then the view is pretty good, so maybe it doesn't matter. For the purposes of this review, I'll be testing the curtain motor on the kitchen windows here for now. So if you don't already have an 82 type curtain track, when it comes to installation it's actually pretty straightforward. The mounting brackets simply slot into the track and are then tightened with a turn like so. You then place as many as you think you'll need depending on the length of the track and the weight of your curtains. The motor is equally easy to fit just by aligning the stem on the motor with the slot in the motor bracket on the end of the track. Once in place, the latch is pulled right, locking the motor in position. Removing the motor just requires lifting the latch and moving it to the left. I've now removed the old blinds and installed the new track with only the motor to install. The cord being so short, I've temporarily fixed a power strip to the edge of the window frame. So before we go any further, let's have a quick look at the remote, because this is a quite important component. This model is a 2-channel remote to control 2 sets of curtains, with each channel selectable via these blue buttons. So when I press them, you can see channel 1 and channel 2 show up briefly on the display. The arrow buttons are simply for open, closed and stop, whilst the buttons on the left are preset positions for the curtains, with 75% closed, 50% closed and 25% closed. Strangely enough, whilst most remotes of these kinds use RF433 MHz, this particular remote uses Bluetooth, so that's something to be aware of. I'll quickly test the remote now, but it should be noted that you need to pair the remote with the curtain motor before setting them up in Apple Home. When paired, you can simply open and close the blinds once and the motor will calibrate the open and closed positions for you. I've now fitted some curtains to the track and added the motor to Apple Home so I can test it as it's meant to be used. These curtains aren't light by any means, and the motor seems to cope with them without any issues. Also note that they're not very loud at all. Let's now do a quick test via Siri. Hey, close the kitchen curtains. open the kitchen curtains. One final time back to the remote, and I wanted to make sure that the preset positions actually match what you see in Apple Home. So I'll start with 25% closed, and after a short delay, Apple Home displays the correct position, i.e. 25% closed, or in this case, 75% open. I'll next try the 50% preset, and once again the position is exactly as it should be at 50%. Finally, the 75% closed preset, and as expected, after a short delay, Apple Home once again displays the correct position. Of course, you can fully open or close the blinds as standard due to the motor self-calibrating via the remote. On to the pros and cons now, starting as we do more often with Matter. And even though this is Matter over Wi-Fi, some find that Wi-Fi can be more predictable and reliable than Thread. Although if you do prefer Thread, Zemismart do actually make a Matter over Thread version. It was sold out at the time of publishing this video. However, one thing I didn't touch on is that if you have a power cut, you can still manually open or close these curtains, which is something you don't tend to get with smart roller blinds, unfortunately, so that's a plus. These are pretty quiet, so if these are to be used in a bedroom, I doubt they'll wake you up too easily. The standardized motor is going to be of use if you already have 82 type curtain tracks and merely want to upgrade your motor, so that's a small but important plus. The fact that it works with Mi Home isn't something many people will find useful, but if you are in that camp, you'll be able to use these without requiring a Matter controller. The only small con is that these motors always come with a pretty short power cord, which I do find annoying. I think it's better to provide a longer cord and let users cut it to size, given that you need to fit a plug to it anyway. All in all, even though I won't be using this motor myself as my apartment uses blinds, I did find it pretty easy to set up, both the physical installation and the smart integration, and it hasn't disconnected once in that time. I also like that the calibration was all done within a few seconds, so this was an overall good experience. So that's our brief look at Zemismart's latest Matter curtain motor. Do you use roller blinds in your home, or would this be useful to those of you with curtains? And perhaps more importantly, would you go with the Matter over Thread model or the Matter over Wi-Fi one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, and remember, if you've got any questions on this or any of my other videos, ask away and I'll always reply. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, show some love by giving it a like, share if you can, and do subscribe if you haven't done so already. It just remains for me to leave you with this week's quote, this time from Harry S. Truman.